just a tough deal at Tulsa McLean High School. Game last Friday, a 17-year-old was shot and killed, another shot and injured, and they were playing the Miami War Dogs. And Miami superintendent,
great name.
Yeah, Miami came out. The superintendent came out and said, "Thoughts and prayers for the family." But I learned my eyes were open wide, and Miami will not travel to Tulsa McLean for any athletic event in the foreseeable future. We just can't risk that. And then we hear Cleveland was supposed to go to Tulsa McLean this week, and Cleveland says we are not going there. And the Miami superintendent goes, "We're willing to take any repercussions that come. The district loss, they're willing to do that." I have not seen anything on the game this week with Cleveland and McLean. I don't know if they can move that game to a neutral site or move it to Cleveland. I haven't seen anything official on there, but Cleveland says we're not going there as well. I talked to a friend who has police connections in the Tulsa area, and they've had that adds extra security at that particular stadium. And for all we know, it has nothing to do with the Tulsa McLean players. Who knows? It might be just some kids coming to the game. It might not be McLean players, but McLean players are basically getting the brunt of this because now you have two programs saying we're not going there. Other schools are talking about it, but I don't know if it had any, the suspect's still out there looking for a 17-year-old person with a gun, which, that's going to be hard to figure out. But I get the superintendents where they come from. McLean players being penalized for it, but they do have to have extra security for that particular stadium, and a lot of people run off from there. So tough deal. I'll let you guys finish. I went to that school back in 1999 for my first ever radio broadcast, first year broadcasting. Yeah. It was just me by myself.
Oh boy!
And I took my high school sweetheart, now my wife of 20 plus years, and we had an incident. Nothing close to this, but it's something that I
never heard about this.
Yeah, it was very minor, but it was when you're 23.
It didn't seem minor.
It didn't. Yeah. 22 and 17-year-old, but just a tough deal. And again, this happened in the fourth quarter after the game. No McLean players involved. I don't know if it's McLean students,
right,
or if it's some person outside that got kicked out of school.
Unfortunately, this is a sign of our society right now. I mean, in my opinion, right? It's a reflection of what's going on in our world. And I echo what you said. I totally get Miami's superintendent's position. I understand it because their number one job is to ensure the safety of their student body above everything else. And, that's a decision that, I actually commend that superintendent for taking what's a very hard stance. That's a tough decision. Now the OSSAA's got a hot potato on their lap.
It's really not.
So if there's an unsafe environment and a school says it's unsafe, we have proof it's unsafe, we're not going to go there. So you got to take a loss in district play.
Right now, that's what it would seem.
No, I understand, but that's what I mean. That's tough.
And he's willing to take that on. The superintendent's willing.
Superintendent is, but now you're dealing with kids that may not get an opportunity to play for state championships. You're dealing with parents that have invested a lot. You're dealing with a coaching staff that's invested a lot, a student body that's invested a lot, a community that's invested a lot. There's just, there's a lot of people that are going to have strong opinions about it. And I think ultimately the OSSAA will be forced to address overall if there's a safety issue at a school, if they don't have to play the game, but it's not considered a loss, or you know what I mean? Because the game wasn't played.
Yeah,
not considered a loss for either team. Not a win, not a loss.
One team shows up to play, and the other team doesn't.
I understand, but listen,
that's the decision that school made.
Yeah. But if we're talking about safety, we just got done reading a ruling about financial stuff, and we took time to invest in that. I would think the OSSAA at some point is going to be forced. I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying they should be forced to. I just have a feeling they're going to have to.
And I understand, but what you hire 45 extra security guards? You're not allowed anybody in. That's not an OSSA. That's a McLean issue.
No, I'm not talking. I see what you're saying, but I'm not talking about from that perspective. I agree it's between the two teams. What I'm saying is the OSSAA is the governing body of all activities in the state of Oklahoma, where they might be forced to make a decision is, are we going, if there's a legitimate safety concern, are we going to punish the kids from the community who say we're not going to put our kids in potential harm's way to go play a game? So is that just a non-game?
I think that's the OSSA letting the members do that. Now, if it was a playoff game, that's where the OSSA truly governs, but they don't really govern.
But the regular season games decide who's in the playoffs.
That's the coaches.
Yeah.
Then the districts, they get the attendance there.
Yeah.
And then the coaches decide districts and all that home and away.
It'll be interesting.
Non-district.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I don't see it as a hard decision from the superintendent standpoint. I myself would be like, nope, no, thank you. And as a parent, I would applaud my superintendent for not going to that game. And whatever the two schools, obviously as a superintendent, you want to try to make it a no contest or whatever it may be. But if you do get penalized as a parent, fine, whatever. I don't care. I mean, there are greater things in my kid's future than a playoff appearance in high school football game. So whatever you want to discuss, but my kid is not going to go there because I want my kid to be safe, and it's clearly not safe. So again, my son's life will. I mean, yeah, he might be upset now, but by the time he's an older adult, he'll be like, man, I've accomplished everything else. I wouldn't even remember this incident no more.
Well, and where I said it's a tough decision. It's not. I think he made the right decision. I don't think it's tough. I agree with you. Where I think it's tough is that there's people in their community going, well, that's not right. Kids they're missing a game. They're not going to get to play. I mean, there are going to be those people that feel that way.
Yeah.
So he's automatically, or she, because they're not going to be the last two teams to make this decision.
Yeah.
That are going to have to deal with stuff in their local communities because there are going to be people that think we should play. There are. There's. I think they're wrong, but there are going to be people that are going to think.
And when you're in leadership, that's going to happen.
Hey, that's what happens when you sit in the big chair.
Yeah.
So
not always fun, but
no.
That's why you take the job anyway,
that's
right?
Exactly right.
We'll see how it unfolds over there, and again, prayers for the both families on that deal. That's the biggest picture, but
absolutely.